Good morning. In 1954, Senator Joseph McCarthy was the chief counsel during the Army-McCarthy hearings in the U.S. Senate and was investigating in Hollywood and New York City theaters for suspecting communists who were directors, actors, actresses, and even playwrights. And if so they were, then they would be kicked out of their careers. Marvin Porter happened to be an uprising new playwright in Brooklyn. And unfortunately, he was one of those so-called communists. And Senator Joseph McCarthy and lawyer Roy Cohn kicked him out of his playwright career. Later on in his life, Roy Cohn happened to be Donald Trump's lawyer in the early 1980s. And Roy taught all of his tricks over to Trump. And Marvin Porter in 1963, he was in a small apartment, all alone, and having only one brother, and he hadn't spoken to his mother ever since Roy Cohn and Senator McCarthy kicked him out of being a playwright and ruined his life. Act 1, Scene 2. It is later in the day as Marvin is typing with the light slowly rising up, and there is knocking on the front door by Sidney Bloomfeld. Marvin, are you going to leave an old woman standing in the cold? Let me in your bolt wall before I get nasty, dear. Marvin opens the door as she enters. What's up, Sidney? The plumber canceled, so you're off the hook. My aunt once married a plumber and complained how he always stunk like a dog kennel. Let me tell you, our family dinners weren't very fun. When he stepped through the door, we'd rush him out into the patio where there was fresh air. Oh my God, I still smell that poor man in my dreams. Did his wife ever ask him to change professions? She did, but he wouldn't listen to her. He not only stunk, but was a cheat and a rotten liar. Even as kids, she made poor choices. Her life was a mess, especially after he had an affair with the ditzy clerk at the hardware store. Did they divorce? Heavens, no. Her rabbi wouldn't condone it. He believed once you're married, it's a life sentence. Only death do you part. From that day on, he lived down in the basement. They lived that way until he died of lung cancer when he was 63. To this day, I still wonder if it was the cigarettes or sewer crap that killed him. Are you going to stand there like a slug or offer me a drink? What would you like? Forget it. I'm still bloated after having breakfast. Listen, I need to discuss a very delicate situation with you. What about? I don't like talking behind people's backs, but there is a possible ramification on this floor of the building. What is it? Look into my eyes and promise you'll keep it a secret. Are you having an affair with the plumber? God forbid. No. Far worse than that. Well, what? Stop rushing me. Can't you see I'm upset? This isn't easy to explain. Sidney, what is it? It's not an it, but it's a who. Who? Have you met your new neighbor? Yes, just this morning. Do you think there is anything odd about her? I don't know, City. She talks with a British accent, so what? She's pretty, a foreigner, and I don't know her from Adam and Eve. I'm confused. I need your eyes and ears for me, Marvin. You want me to spy? Yeah, I guess so. I'm not in the spying business. I'm a writer. Listen to me. There was once a young lady in apartment 23 on the second floor a few years back. She must have been an army recruiter with the stream of men coming through her door. It took me months to get rid of her. And don't forget, catching a disease is easy, but ridding it is almost impossible. You think she's a prostitute? Shh, don't say that. She might be hearing through the wall. They're the worst kind. Purity on the outside, but underneath, they're fire-breathing dragons. City presses her ear against the dividing wall. Hear anything? Don't be a smart-ass. And in the meantime, keep your eyes and ears on her. For me, okay? And before I go, are you still writing those stupid obituaries? That's how I pay my rent, City. I told you before, my cousin's a newspaper editor. He needed a writer, and I needed a job. I have a cousin in Chicago who owns a slaughterhouse, and I don't stand in pig guts for him. Is there a moral in this? Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Losers are afraid of success, and they would rather bend over and grab their ankles than reaching up to the stars. Thanks for the imagery. Don't mention it, but remember, be all eyes and ears. Sure, all four of them. Now go back and write about your dead people. Who knows? Maybe you'll learn something what I don't know. City exits. Marvin moves to his desk. He begins typing, stops, ponders for a moment, stands and presses his ear against the wall as the lights fade into black. The telephone rings in the dark, then a light is turned on as Marvin picks up the phone receiver. Hello? It's the middle of the night. Slow down. When? I'm not coming. Just explain it to her. What did the doctor say? No, George. I'm getting off the phone and going back to bed. Marvin hangs up the phone, and as he moves into the bedroom, he hears someone knocking on the front door.
Open up, it's me, Sammy.
Why are you knocking on my door? It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Let me in. I'm a night bird looking for a perch.
There aren't any branches in here. Go home.
Be a sport and let me in.
I was never good at games. Go away.
I think I've got to pee.
He quickly opens the door, and she enters cheerfully, walking around the room with Marvin standing totally confused. The bathroom's by the door.
I already did it in the alley. Can you make me a drink?
No, you're already drunk. She twirls about the room.
I'm a ballerina lifting my dreary heart upward and never being earthbound again.
He twirls laughingly, round and round until she falls into his arms.
Hello, stranger. Who brought you into my life?
He struggles with her in his grasp. Let me take you to your apartment. She wraps her arms around him, squeezing him tightly.
Why ever for? Don't you like me?
Baxter enters. It's a little late for the tango, don't you think?
Do I know you?
Not officially, and you're one cocktail too many. It's time to say goodnight, Olivia. Baxter frees her grasp from Marvin.
Do I have to?
Yes, you're greatly in need for your beauty sleep, dear.
I don't want to go to sleep. It's a bore.
Be a good girl now. Right foot forward, swing your left leg nicely behind the other.
But I want to play with Marvin.
Baxter moves her to the entrance door. Say good night so we all can go back to sleep.
Goodbye, Marvin. I'm being kidnapped.
Baxter opens the entrance door and exits with Sammy. Marvin moves to the window and looks out at the Brooklyn Bridge. Baxter soon enters the room. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put poor Humpty Dumpty back together again. What does that mean? Your life, as you once knew it, is now officially over, my dear friend. Your metaphors never make any sense. I think they do, and so do you. That silly, lovely woman has you in her headlock, and you won't be able to escape. Oh, God, I'm not the least interested in her, or for that matter, anyone else. I'm going to bed. You're not getting off that easily. How would you know? You've never touched a woman in your life. So what makes you an authority of what I should do? You don't have to bed them to understand them. I've been an admirer of women for many years. I'm tired of listening to you. Good night. Marvin walks into his bedroom. Do you remember when we first met? I'm tired of hearing you, looking at you, and think about where you're going in the morning. You were in the 5th row in the theater. Do you remember old Garish? That damn bastard wasn't a director. He was a tyrant. It was your first play, and his interpretations were always his law. I auditioned for the lead role, and I was late on arrival, and Garish said, "Get the hell off my stage if you're tardy once. A good bet you'll fail me in the end." Oh, as I walked down the aisle to leave the theater, you said to Garish, "I like the way he looks and postures." Oh, he ordered me to wait outside. I don't know what you told him and what changed his mind, but you saved me as an actor. I was marvelous on that opening night, wasn't I, Marvin? Where are you going with this? What does this have to do with women? It's everything about trusting and women in your life. I don't see any correlation of what you just said. Women can be unpredictable like your mother, but her intentions were well thought, and that is why you don't trust other women like the one next door. I'm going to bed. Do you miss the theater? The answer is, it doesn't miss me. He turns and walks into his bedroom. Sweet dreams, my forlorn, dear friend. Baxter moves to the piano and tickles the ivory keys as the lights fade to black.